In a world obsessed with output, with hustle, grind, and constant motion, rest has become pretty underrated. We glorify exhaustion, we measure worth by how busy we are. But the reality is that rest is not always laziness. Rest can be identified as leadership. Rest is a strategy. Rest is productivity in disguise. Because the mind and body are not designed for constant acceleration. They're designed for rhythm, effort and recovery, motion and stillness. I'm your host, Isaac, and today on the Standards of Excellence podcast, we're exploring the idea that rest is productive and why the ability to pause, recharge, and renew is not a weakness, instead it's wisdom. We live in a culture that treats rest like a luxury instead of a necessity. We tell ourselves, I'll rest when I'm done, but we're never done. The irony is that people who refuse to rest often achieve less. We talked about it yesterday, but that's not because they're unwilling to work. It's because they never have time to recover. You can't pour from an empty vessel. You can't sustain excellence when you're depleted. When your mind is fatigued, your creativity dies. When your body is overworked, your judgment disappears. When your emotions are drained, your perspective narrows. Rest doesn't take time away from productivity, it multiplies it. Because recovery doesn't replace growth, it fuels it. Science confirms what wisdom has always known, that rest is a biological requirement for peak performance. When you rest, whether that means sleeping, meditating, or simply stepping away, your brain enters a state called neural consolidation. That's where short-term memory becomes long-term learning. That's where creativity reawakens. Sleep, especially, is your body's built-in repair system. During sleep, your muscles rebuild, your hormones balance, and your mind organizes the previous day's experiences. Skipping rest doesn't save time, it steals from your clarity. Because without recovery, you're working from a deficit, slower, foggier, and less creative. Here's the paradox. When you rest well, you need less time to do more work because you're operating at full capacity instead of half power. Psychologically, rest isn't just physical, it's mental permission to stop striving for a moment. Many people resist rest because they've tiered their identity with productivity. If they're not producing, they feel guilty. If they're not in motion, they feel behind. But that mindset leads to burnout. And burnout isn't a badge of honor, it's a symptom of imbalance. True excellence doesn't come from constant strain, it comes from sustainable rhythm. And rhythm requires rest. When you rest, your nervous system recalibrates, your cortisol levels drop, your focus sharpens, and your perspective returns. That's why you often find solutions in the shower, on a walk, or after a good night's sleep, because your mind needed silence to process. Rest is not retreat, rest is repair. Not all rest is created equal. There are 4 types of rest, and understanding them helps you fully recharge. Number 1 is physical rest. This is the foundation. It includes sleep, stretching, stillness, anything that allows your body to recover from exertion. Number 2 is mental rest. That means stepping away from information overload. Your mind needs breaks from constant input. Emails, notifications, conversations. Silence is not empty, it's space for clarity to return. Number 3 is emotional rest. It creates the release of emotional labor. It's creating moments where you don't have to perform, fix, or manage anyone else's feelings. Stillness and emotion restore empathy. Number 4 is spiritual rest. This is the connection to meaning. Whether through faith, reflection, or gratitude, it's reminding yourself why it is that you do what you do. When purpose aligns with effort, rest becomes renewal. Each type of rest refuels a different part of who you are. Ignore one, and fatigue will find you, no matter how much you sleep. Rest feels unnatural for high achievers because it threatens the ego. When you pause, you face silence, and silence can feel like failure in a world addicted to noise. But rest doesn't erase progress, it preserves it. The quiet moments between action are what give your actions meaning. It takes courage to stop. It takes confidence to say, I've done enough for today. Because only someone secure in their worth can step away without feeling guilt. Perfectionists chase constant output. Masters understand that output happens in cycles, creation and restoration, push and pause. That's why rest is not a weakness, but it's a sign of self-respect. Let's take a look at this. Let's figure out how to integrate rest into your life using a systemic approach, not as an afterthought. Part 1 is scheduling your rest intentionally. Don't wait for exhaustion to remind you. Block recovery time on your calendar, just like you would a meeting or a workout. If you don't plan it, it most likely won't happen. Part 2 would be define what rest really means for you. For some, rest is solitude. For others, it's time with family, a walk outside, a quiet reflection. Rest is personal. Make sure you design it intentionally. Part 3 would be disconnect to reconnect. Technology gives you the illusion of rest, but endless scrolling keeps your brain in input mode. Create real, hard-set boundaries. Step away from screens, from noise, from constant consumption. Part 4, honor the rhythm of recovery. Don't treat rest as a reward for finishing. Treat it as a foundation for starting again stronger. The best performers rest before they're exhausted, not after. When rest becomes part of your system, not a break from it, you move from reactive survival to proactive excellence. Stillness is not inactivity, it's awareness without movement. When you rest intentionally, you begin to notice what constant activity was hiding. Tension, fatigue, maybe in your case it's even purpose. In that stillness, peace reemerges. Rest restores perspective. It reminds you that productivity without peace is just performance, and performance without renewal eventually collapses. You can only give what you have to give, and rest ensures you always have something more. Excellence requires endurance, and endurance requires that renewal that we keep talking about. So today, give yourself permission to pause. Take a breath, take time to recover. Because when you rest well, it's not that you're losing momentum, it's actually that you're creating it. Thank you for listening to the Standards of Excellence podcast. If today's message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs the reminder that stillness is not the opposite of success, but it's part of it. Until next time, pursue excellence, be intentional about your rest, and make today matter.